Everyone, remain calm.
Back for more, huh?
Oh, yeah. That's how it always starts. But then later there's running and screaming.
Somebody talk to me! What is happening?
Welcome to Jurassic World.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Jurassic Park podcast.
How long is it going to take for that to spread around the globe?
You specialize in a subject nobody cares about anymore. You're about to be out of a job.
Look at you. Look at me. And look at you.
Hold on to your butts.
Well, we're back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jurassic Park podcast. I'm your host, Brad Jost, and we're here to discuss all things Jurassic, including the movies, TV shows, music, toys, and more. In episode 442, Conor O'Keefe returns with a mini edition of DINO DNA, this time looking at the Compsognathus, which is certainly one of the smallest dinosaurs from the series, but also one of the most widely loved dinosaurs from the series. I feel like everybody loves this little creature, and I know I do, but probably because it was featured so heavily in The Lost World, which is one of my favorites of the franchise. But Conor is here to deliver a shorter but wildly in-depth look at the compy with some really fun audio design, which I loved, so be sure to stick around to show Conor some love as well. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Universal and Amazon for sending over a nice care package this past week that featured the Distortus Rex from Mattel. There were these two cuddle pillows, a Titanosaur and Spinosaurus. They were from Rebirth, obviously, and then there was a mini playset that had the D-Rex in there with some molding clay and a bunch of mini dinosaurs, and then, of course, a Jurassic Park t-shirt. They wanted me to let you know that you can find all of those and more available at amazon.com/Jurassic World. So please be sure to give them a look at the link in our show notes and find some awesome Jurassic merch this summer. And as always, please check out our live streams over on YouTube discussing all of the latest Jurassic news from around the world, typically Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. EST. I know I haven't gotten a chance to get over there. I've been a little sparse. I mean, I did do them a bunch, but I also did some video game streams of the Jurassic World Evolution 3. I missed last week's, but hopefully we'll get back on that train this week. And if you have any thoughts and feelings on any of the latest Jurassic World news, call our voicemail line at 732-825-7763, or you can email your voice memos to JurassicParkPod@gmail.com and let us know all of your thoughts. And we will play those on upcoming episodes of the Jurassic Mailbag when we go ahead and record those. But it is time, so let's go ahead and dive into a mini edition of DINO DNA with Conor O'Keefe, taking a look at the Compsognathus.
Well, maybe dinosaurs have more in common with present-day birds than they do with reptiles.
You do understand these are actual animals, right?
You read about them in books, you see the bones in museums, but you don't really believe it.
You should hear a 4-year-old try to say Archaeornithomimus.
I read both of your books. You liked dinosaurs back then.
All vertebrate embryos are inherently female anyway. They just require an extra hormone given at the right developmental stage to make them male.
You know that I'm not at liberty to reveal the asset's genetic makeup.
Nothing in Jurassic World is natural.
You will see a herd of the first dinosaurs on our tour, called Dilophosaurus.
How would you classify it, Billy?
Suchomimus, snout.
No, think bigger.
Baryonyx.
Spinosaurus egypti.
Actually, Charlie, those are herbivores. They really wouldn't be interested in fighting with each other. But these ones here are carnivores, and they really like fighting with each other. They use their teeth and their claws to rip each other's throats out.
Al, he's 3. Let's wait till he's 5.
Hello, and welcome back to DINO DNA, the show where we take a look at the real-world animals that inspired the prehistoric creatures featured in the Jurassic film franchise. I'm your host, Conor O'Keefe, and today I'm excited to introduce a brand new format for the show. In these mini-sodes, we'll be spotlighting some of the smaller background species featured in the films. Rest assured, the full-length episodes featuring guests and expert paleontologists will still continue. But this show is an exciting way to ensure that we cover all the fan favorites along with the stars of the show. As always, this isn't a critical look at the countless hours of work put into these creature designs, but more an exploration of the process and choices that were put in to bring these cinematic characters to life, and comparing those to what we currently know about the real-life dinosaurs from the past. In many cases, they vary from their real-world counterparts as the study of paleontology is constantly progressing with new discoveries every year. Lots of what we see in the movies, the sounds the dinosaurs make, their behavior, even the scale patterns, are mainly unknown to science, as typically only the hardest part of an animal is fossilized. In fact, a lot of paleontology is based on theories drawn from comparing fossils to the skeletons and anatomy of modern-day animals. And in many cases, the designs for the dinosaurs we see in the Jurassic films have done the same. So, without further ado, it's time to take you back to the Jurassic period, 150 million years ago. If you're able to, close your eyes. The air is wet and humid with the strong smell of salt. Under your feet is the crunch of damp sand, fallen twigs, and the occasional shell. You're standing at the edge of a massive lagoon. Stretched out ahead of you is a horizon full of small islands, the sun straining through the dark clouds in shafts of dazzling orange light. Flying reptiles soar and dive to catch fish swimming at the surface of the water. You can hear the forest behind you is teeming with life. Insects buzz past your head, and you can hear the rustle of animals darting and flapping between the treetops overhead. No birdsong. There are birds, but they haven't evolved their larynx yet, the organ needed for complex vocalizations. You're currently standing in central Laurasia, a series of islands at the edge of the Tethys Ocean, which will become Western Europe in 150 million years. This is the late Jurassic period, where dinosaurs grew to massive sizes and spread across the world. However, your attention is drawn to a rustling in the stand of ferns to your side. After a short series of chirps, a small animal hops out, allowing you to get your first look at a dinosaur. This is not one of the Jurassic giants. The animal stands about 1 meter in length and around 30 centimeters in height, pretty much as tall as the ruler you used back in school. It looks at you with large, dark eyes, set above a long, tapered, scaly snout. Its head cocks to the side inquisitively on the end of a long, curved neck. However, unlike other reptiles you've seen, this animal is balanced on 2 long legs, with a tail longer than the rest of its body, counterbalancing its weight. Its forelimbs are tucked under its body, the palms of its 2 tiny clawed hands facing each other. You notice it doesn't have the 3 large clawed fingered hands you'd expect, but 2 clawed digits and a small, almost vestigial 3rd digit tucked to the side. Also unlike other reptiles you've seen, this one is covered in a downy fluff, what almost looks like a thin layer of fine fur. A small lizard darts in a path between you and the animal. In the blink of an eye, the larger animal gives chase, snapping at the tail of the small lizard. When it opens its mouth, you catch a glint of rows of tiny, needle-like teeth. There's 34 in total in the upper jaw, and 21 in the lower. Both animals disappear into the nearby foliage, their chase continuing deeper into the forest. You've just had your first encounter with a Compsognathus. Compsognathus has become a staple of the Jurassic series, an icon of cinema in its own right, first appearing in 1997's The Lost World Jurassic Park.
Well, hello there. What are you? Is it bird or something?
It has since appeared in all of the sequels, bar 2015's Jurassic World, primarily as a background species to flesh out the on-screen species roster. It is also one of the only dinosaurs to get a detailed introduction by a character, in this case, Dr. Robert Berg, based on real-life paleontologist Dr. Bob Becker in what some would call quite an unflattering caricature.
Compsognathus triassicus, found by Frost in Bavaria in 1913.
Sadly, that's not exactly right. You see, Burke's actually talking about Pro-Compsognathus, an animal that predated Compsognathus by around 70 million years in the Triassic period, and despite its name, was not a close relative. The dinosaur we see in the films is based on Compsognathus longiceps, discovered by German paleontologist Johann Wagner, also in Bavaria, but in 1859. At first, it was thought to be a type of prehistoric lizard, the term dinosaur only coined 17 years earlier. The name Compsognathus translates as elegant jaw in ancient Greek, referring to its very thin lower jaw bones. The jaw is actually so fine, it lacks the mandibular fenestra, which is a small hole in the jaw found commonly on dinosaurs and their relatives, crocodiles and pterosaurs. At the time of its discovery, and all the way up to the height of Jurassic mania in the 1990s, it was the smallest non-avian bird dinosaur ever discovered, even after a slightly larger specimen was found in France in 1971. It wasn't until around a decade after its discovery in the late 1860s that renowned English biologist Thomas Huxley recognized it was a dinosaur, along with American paleontologist Edward Drinker Cope, who reclassified it as a dinosaur in 1870. Thomas Huxley was a close scientific ally of Charles Darwin, who had published his theory of evolution in On the Origin of the Species in the same year Compsognathus was discovered, in 1859. A year after that, another, much more famous fossil was discovered in the same location in Bavaria, Archaeopteryx, long considered to be the earliest known bird. The Compsognathus and Archaeopteryx fossils were remarkably similar in size, general body proportions, and teeth, save for the imprint of long flight feathers around the Archaeopteryx. By comparing the two fossils to one another, and to the skeletons of modern-day birds, Huxley came to the earth-shattering conclusion that birds had evolved from dinosaurs way back in 1870, cementing the importance of Compsognathus's discovery in the history of science. Now, back to the films. Overall, the Jurassic design is quite similar to what we see in the fossil record. Given that the two Compsognathus specimens we have are almost complete, you can see that Stan Winston Studios were able to replicate the overall body to a high degree of accuracy. In terms of size, InGen's Compsognathus stands around 30 centimeters tall and 19 centimeters long, according to promotional tie-in media for The Lost World, which is very accurate to the estimated size of the original German specimen. But interestingly enough, this is smaller than the larger French specimen discovered in 1971. The skull especially is almost identical to that of the fossil, as we can see it in quite clear detail under the shrink-wrapped head. The neck is slightly longer and the wrists are pronated, meaning that the palms of the hands point straight down, rather than facing each other side by side. This, however, is a common error made in many reconstructions of dinosaurs at the time, and it has since been realized that most dinosaurs couldn't rotate their hands this way. For most of their appearances, the compies have a green, scaled, lizard-like appearance. This is how the Pro-Compsognathus were described in the original novel, which could be a callback to its original classification as a lizard. Close relatives of Compsognathus, like Sinosauropteryx, have been preserved with the imprints of simple feathers that would have resembled thin fur covering their bodies, but there is no direct evidence of feathers for Compsognathus specifically. However, given their small size and the fact that feathers originally evolved as a way for animals to insulate themselves, many have theorized that they may have also possessed feathers, but the jury is still out. In terms of those trademark chittering vocalizations, the ones in the films were created by combining baby chick, dolphin, and macaw calls. We have no idea what the real-world Compsognathus would have sounded like, but one thing's for sure, they didn't have a larynx, vocal cords, or a voice box. Those hadn't evolved in the dinosaur lineage yet. That wouldn't have stopped them from making any sounds though, as lizards, snakes, and crocodiles are able to hiss, boom, and squeak without one tune. On to behavior. Behavior is very hard to determine for extinct animals, but there are some clues left in the fossil record that can give us an idea on certain behaviors like feeding, courtship, and fighting. In The Lost World, Dominion, and Camp Cretaceous, compies are depicted as pack animals, grouping together to bring down larger prey, like the unfortunate Dieter Stark in what I think is one of the most memorable and horrific moments of the franchise. We have no direct fossil evidence of pack behavior, however, and in fact, there isn't solid evidence of social pack hunting in any dinosaurs or other archosaurs, like crocodiles or birds, aside from one species, the Harris hawk. However, some large monitor lizard species, such as the Komodo dragon, have been observed attacking large prey animals like deer spontaneously and simultaneously. While not a coordinated attack, by grouping together, they are able to bring down prey faster than hunting solo. In fact, no other dinosaurs have been discovered yet in the same locality as Compsognathus, meaning that instead of being a minnow in a world of giants, on the tropical islands of Jurassic Europe, Compsognathus could perhaps have been one of the largest predators in the region. So what did it eat? Well, luckily enough, the original German specimen contained small fossils of its most recent prey preserved in the stomach cavity. These fossils belong to small vertebrate animals, think lizards, frogs, and rodent-sized mammals, with evidence that the prey was eaten in chunks. Its needle-like teeth would also have been well adapted at catching fast-moving insects, something that we actually see the compies do during one of their brief appearances in Jurassic Park 3. Perhaps one of the most infamous traits of the Jurassic compy is the long-hypothesized venomous bite. First introduced by Crichton in the original novel for Compsognathus, it wasn't until Camp Cretaceous Season 3 that this was confirmed to be the case for the film version of the animal.
That was close. They look cute, but they actually have trace amounts
of venom in their bites. Quick thinking, D. How did you know that would work?
I've been keeping a log of their scavenging and other dinosaur behavior.
And even more memorably, referencing Hammond's original death at the mercy of the compy swarm in the novels, which was eventually adapted for Dieter Stark, The Lost World.
What? Legend has it that the original park owner broke his ankle here and then was eaten alive by compies.
That's not true. John Hammond died of natural causes. Where'd you hear that?
Crichton introduced a variety of surprising traits for his cloned dinosaurs, from the venomous Compsognathus and Dilophosaurus to the color chromatophore changing raptors and Carnotaurus. In the case of venom, perhaps this could be traced back to the splicing of frog DNA to complete the gene sequencing. In the real world, venom in reptiles evolved in snakes and lizards, evolutionarily distant from archosaurs. That's the group of reptiles that includes dinosaurs, crocodiles, and pterosaurs. And there are no venomous birds. However, an equally diverse group of vertebrate animals alive today, the mammals, have odd examples of venom evolving at very distant evolutionary branches, from the marsupial platypus the tree-dwelling loris, to some bat species. So while we have no direct evidence of venom in the dinosaur fossil record, it's not completely out of the question. Aside from minor striping and pattern changes, and the occasional brown compy in the Lost World and Camp Cretaceous, their design went mainly unchanged across the Jurassic sequels. That was until Rebirth came along, where we see a small group of compy sporting a bright orange coloration with a dark bluish-grey underbelly. In nature, bright colours have evolved for a variety of reasons, but this coloration almost matches the poison dart frog. Could this allude to their venomous nature? Sadly, we don't see enough of this variant in Rebirth to find out. If we return one day to Isle St. Hubert, hopefully we'll get more screen time with these little creatures, and hopefully a scene to finally rival Dieter's death from the Lost World. Thank you so much for listening to Dino DNA. I have been your host, Conor O'Keefe, and you can find my profiles online at Conor Ontology on Instagram, Blue Sky, Discord, and YouTube. As a final disclaimer, I'm not a trained paleontologist, but a science communicator with a background in museums and paleontology collections management. So this episode has been based on the work of countless others in the field. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll catch you on the next show.
Life will not be contained. Life breaks free, it expands to new territories, and crashes through barriers painfully, maybe even dangerously, but there it is. There it is. I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
That'll do it for another episode of the Jurassic Park podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you for listening and sharing in our love of dinosaurs and the compy. A huge thank you goes out to Conor for putting these little mini episodes together in between all of the bigger installments, the ones with the interviews and the conversations and things like that. I think these mini episodes are going to be so much fun. I have already had an incredible time listening to this first one, hearing the sounds of Isla Sorna, getting to hear parts of the movie. That's what I love about this podcast, right? It's to get to hear this stuff that you love. And then having him just set that stage, oh, it was so good. And then, of course, learning all about the compy. That's what we're here for with Dino DNA. And I'm so glad Conor is able to do that in these mini installments. So shout out to Conor. Go give him a follow and share all of your thoughts on these mini episodes with myself, Conor. Hit up our voicemail line, us on social media or emails, whatever you want, and let us know, what do you think of these little mini episodes? And of course, you can always hit us up, like I said, on social platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Threads, to continue the conversation from this episode. And also, please be sure to subscribe to my newsletter for the chance that I may ever write one to cover all things Jurassic movies, TV shows, my podcasts, and other thoughts and appearances. You can find the link to that newsletter on JurassicParkPodcast.com/newsletter. And a huge thank you, as always, to our podcast host, Podomatic, for giving us a place to upload this podcast each and every week. Everybody out there, please just know that you matter. Stay safe, be kind, fight for representation, change, and equality in the Jurassic franchise, but more importantly, outside of this franchise, in the real world where it actually counts. It's especially needed these days. Let's be sure to make this world a better place. I'm going to go ahead and hand things off to myself for the outro. Take it away.
Saddle up, let's get this movable feast underway.
Continue the conversation with us on Threads, Facebook, and Instagram. Watch our content over on YouTube. Find us on the web at JurassicParkPodcast.com. You'll find today's episode show notes, articles, and so much more. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podomatic, our website, or wherever else podcasts are found. So be sure to follow along and share with your friends, family, and fellow Jurassic fans. If you haven't already, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We will read your Apple reviews at the end of most episodes, so please be sure to spare no expense. Don't miss our Wednesday night live streams on our YouTube channel. If you want to get a hold of us, you can fill out the contact form on our website or send emails and MP3s to JurassicParkPod@gmail.com. Feel free to call our voicemail line at any time to leave us a message or just say hi. That number is 732-825-7763. Thank you so much for listening, and enjoy.
Drop what you're doing and leave now.